The old human sat by the dying fire, his body wrapped in a cloak that had seen many winters. His hair was silver, his hands marked with scars of long battles, yet his mind was still sharp. He had lived too long to trust smiles, and tonight, his instincts whispered that danger was near. The dragon sisters were sitting not far from him, their golden eyes glowing in the dim light. To anyone else, they looked calm, harmless, even graceful. But the elder knew better. So he lay down on the rough ground, closed his eyes, and slowed his breathing. To them, it would look like he had fallen into a deep sleep. In truth, his ears stayed open, sharp as a blade, waiting for a sound. The silence stretched. Only the crackle of the fire and the soft rustle of the night wind filled the air. Then, at last, he heard it, the whispering. It was the younger sister first, her voice low and careful. "He sleeps too easily. For one so old, his guard should be higher." The elder's heart thudded inside his chest. He kept his body still, forcing his chest to rise and fall slowly. The older sister answered, her voice colder, like a blade drawn in the dark. "Do not be fooled. Humans are sly, but it matters little. Soon, he will not wake at all." The elder's blood ran cold. His fingers curled into the blanket, hidden from sight. He had lived through ambushes, betrayals, and wars, but hearing this sent a chill deeper than any blade could cut. The younger sister's voice trembled slightly. "But, do we truly break the pact? The elders of our clan will not forgive us. They swore with his kind. They swore with his people." The older one hissed back, sharper now. "Pacts are chains, and chains are meant to be broken. The humans think we bow, but we are dragons. Our wings were not made to kneel." The elder's breath caught in his throat. He fought the urge to rise and confront them. Every instinct screamed at him to act. But he forced stillness because to move too soon would mean death. He needed to know more. The whispers grew darker. "We strike when the moon hides," the elder sister murmured. "When the humans trust us most. He is only the first. A symbol. His blood will open the way." The old man felt his chest tighten. They were not just planning betrayal, they were planning war. His people believed these sisters were allies, envoys of peace. They walked among humans with soft smiles and kind words. But behind those smiles were daggers, waiting to cut at the first chance. The elder's heart pounded so hard he feared they would hear it. He pressed his hand flat against his chest beneath the cloak, steadying himself. The night felt colder now, as if the stars themselves had hidden. The younger sister whispered again, quieter, almost afraid. "And if he hears us? If he knows?" The older one laughed softly. "He is too old to matter. And if he does hear, then let him die with the truth burning inside him. What can one frail human do against us?" Her words stabbed deeper than any sword. He had fought whole armies when he was younger, had stood on battlefields where blood flowed like rivers. Yet now, at this moment, he felt the weight of his years pressing heavy. He was not young anymore. His bones ached, his strength had faded. And still, he could not let fear rule him. The whispers faded, silence creeping back in. The sisters rose, their shapes shifting faintly in the firelight, scales glimmering faintly under human skin. For a brief second, the elder saw it, the flicker of true dragon beneath their false forms. A glint of fangs, a shimmer of wings. His blood froze again. He stayed still until their footsteps faded into the night, leaving him alone with the dying fire. Only then did he let his eyes open. His gaze was hard, carved from years of war, but behind it was fear. Not fear for himself, fear for his people. The elder pushed himself up slowly, every bone groaning, and looked into the embers. The pact between humans and dragons had lasted for generations. It had been carved in blood and sacrifice, sealed so that neither side would destroy the other. If the dragon sisters meant to break it, then all of it, the peace, the trust, the fragile bond, would fall apart. And it would start with him. He rose to his feet, cloak falling around him, and looked out into the darkness where the sisters had gone. The wind carried faint echoes, like wings moving far away. He clenched his fists. He could not let them succeed. But he also could not reveal what he knew not yet. For if they discovered he had heard, he would not live to see another dawn. So the elder made his choice. He would keep pretending. He would act weak, slow, harmless. He would smile at them in the daylight as if he trusted them. And at night, when they whispered again, he would listen, gathering every secret, every dark word, until he understood the full depth of their plan. The game had begun. And though he was old, though his blood ran slower than in his youth, he had not survived this long by being foolish. The dragon sisters thought him weak. They thought him blind. They thought him already half dead. They would learn how dangerous an old wolf could be. The night dragged on, heavy with secrets. The elder sat awake, eyes on the stars, hearing again the older sister's voice. Soon, he will not wake at all. A shiver ran through him, not from fear of death. He had faced that too many times, but from the certainty that what he overheard tonight was only the beginning. Somewhere deep inside, he knew. When the dawn came, nothing would ever be the same again. The morning sun rose slowly, painting the camp in pale gold. The old human elder sat by the fire, his back straight but his eyes tired. He had not closed them once since the sisters whispered their plan in the night. His body longed for rest, but his mind burned with the memory of their voices. Across from him, the dragon sisters moved gracefully, as if nothing was wrong. The younger one hummed while gathering herbs, her smile soft, almost childlike. The elder sister sharpened a blade, her face calm, eyes unreadable. To anyone passing by, they would look harmless. Loyal companions, trusted allies. But the elder now knew better. He watched their every move, careful not to show his suspicion. If they noticed even a flicker of mistrust in his eyes, they would know he had heard. He forced his face into lines of calm, nodding when the younger one offered him water, smiling faintly as though his heart was not heavy with fear. Inside, his thoughts raced. They planned to break the pact. They want my death to begin their war. He had lived long enough to know the weight of secrets. Secrets destroyed kingdoms. Secrets started fires that burned across worlds. He had no choice now but to gather every shred of truth. The day moved on. The sisters acted as they always did. They hunted small game. They laughed softly at each other's words. And they spoke kindly to the humans they met along the road. No one suspected anything. Not the guards at the watchpost. Not the children who ran close to see the beautiful dragon women. Not even the young soldiers who bowed with respect when they passed. But the elder saw it. A flicker of coldness in their eyes when no one watched. A small glance exchanged too quickly between them. The way their smiles never reached their golden eyes. That night, the elder pretended to sleep again. His cloak wrapped around him, his breathing deep and steady. And again, when the camp had grown quiet, he heard it. Those whispers in the dark. The younger one's voice shook with hesitation. Sister, his people trust us too much. If we break the pact, their fury will be endless. The elder one's voice cut like steel. That is the point. Let their fury rise. Let them march. War feeds us. Their fear will be our strength. The old man's stomach turned. War. That was their true aim. Not just betrayal of him, but the shattering of peace between two races. The blood of thousands would follow. The younger one whispered again, almost pleading. And the elder human? Why must he be the first? The answer came sharp, cruel. Because he is a symbol. They respect him. If his blood spills first, their hope will fall faster. Kill the head and the body is weak. The old man's heart pounded against his chest. His hand clenched tightly around the dagger hidden beneath his cloak. He wanted to rise, to strike, to end them both before they could move. But reason chained him. Two dragons, even in their half-human forms, were not foes he could defeat alone, not anymore. His strength had faded, and wisdom told him that patience would serve better than rashness. So he lay still, breathing slowly, as if lost in dreams, while every word carved deeper into his mind. At dawn, the sisters smiled again, their whispers buried beneath bright laughter. The younger one plucked wildflowers and braided them into her hair, her eyes shining as though she carried no darkness inside. The elder sister spoke with guards, her tone respectful, her posture graceful. No one would believe him if he told the truth. Not yet. So the old man decided to watch more closely. Days passed and the pattern repeated. In daylight they were allies. At night, their whispers spoke of broken chains and blood. Each time he pretended to sleep, the elder heard more fragments. Names of places, hidden signals, and the faint sound of wings unfolding when they thought no one was listening. The truth was clear now. The sisters were not acting alone. They were part of something larger, something hidden in the dark, waiting for the first strike to come. But one question burned inside him. Why now? Why break the pact after so many years of peace? One evening, when the sun bled red into the horizon, the elder walked alone toward the river. His reflection stared back at him from the water, an old face, lined with age and scars. Behind that reflection, the water rippled, and in those ripples he saw memory. He remembered the war long ago before the pact was made. He remembered burning villages, skies filled with dragon fire, and humans crying out for salvation. He remembered standing among the fallen, blood on his hands, when the pact was sworn to end the slaughter. That day, dragons and humans had agreed. Never again. Yet now, whispers in the night promised that it would all begin again. When he returned to camp, he found the sisters staring at the horizon. Their golden eyes seemed to burn in the fading light. The elder sister spoke softly, but her words carried weight. The chains will break soon. The younger nodded, her face pale. The old man froze. Did they know he was near? Or was it only their faith in their own secret plan? He kept walking, his step steady, his face calm, but inside he burned. That night, he sat awake, staring at the stars. He knew the truth now. The sisters were dangerous. They hid behind kind faces, but their hearts were sharpened blades. They wanted to shatter peace, to burn the fragile trust built over generations. And worst of all, no one would believe him without proof. He whispered to himself, so low the night swallowed the sound. I must find their master. I must see who commands them. Because he knew now, dragon sisters did not whisper alone. There was someone or something that guided their steps. And if he found that truth, he might save his people before it was too late. The elder wrapped his cloak tighter, his eyes never closing. Sleep could wait. Secrets could not. The hunt for truth had begun. The wind carried the smell of ash that night, though no fire burned near the camp. The old human elder sat alone, his cloak pulled close, his eyes sharp as ever. He had listened to whispers for many nights now, whispers that painted a picture darker than any nightmare. But one question refused to leave his mind. Why break the pact? The pact had been carved in blood. He had been there long ago, when humans and dragons had sworn to end their endless war. Too many lives had been lost. Villages burned to dust. Skies blackened by wings and fire. Both sides had suffered so deeply that peace had been the only path left. He remembered the day it happened. He had stood with others, younger then, stronger, his sword still wet from battle. Across from him had been a great dragon lord, wings vast enough to blot out the sun. And between them, a sacred stone, cracked by fire and blood, where the pact was sealed. Never again the dragons had sworn. Never again the humans had echoed. But now, as he listened to the dragon sisters whisper in the night, that oath seemed to crumble like dry earth. The younger sister's voice reached him again, trembling. Sister, the pact was made for a reason. It saved both our peoples. If we tear it apart, fire will come again. Cities will burn. Blood will drown the land. The elder sister's reply was steady, cold, dangerous. The pact was weakness. Our ancestors bowed because they feared extinction. But we are not them. We are stronger now. The humans have grown soft. They no longer remember what dragon fire feels like. The old man's heart twisted. He remembered too well. He had seen whole towns vanish under a dragon's roar. He had carried the dying from flames that could not be quenched. He had sworn that day never to let such horror return. Yet the sisters spoke as if those memories meant nothing. The younger whispered again. And him? Why must the old one die first? He has done no wrong. The elder sister's laugh was sharp. Because he is a relic of the pact. His life is a reminder that dragons once bent knee to men. His death will be our first declaration. When his blood stains the earth, the pact dies with him. The old man's hand tightened on his dagger, hidden beneath his cloak. Rage boiled inside him. He wanted to rise, to end her with steel before she spoke another word. But he forced himself still. He knew patience was his only weapon. That night, sleep did not come. He sat awake, staring at the fire until dawn. The whispers echoed in his mind. His blood will be our first declaration. By morning, the elder knew he could not wait any longer. He needed answers. He needed proof. When the sisters went to gather food, he slipped away, his steps silent despite his age. His path led him to the old ruins that lay beyond the camp. Few dared to go there. The stones were blackened, melted by dragon fire from battles long past. But it was here long ago that the pact had been signed. He touched the stone at the center of the ruins, its surface still cracked, the marks of claws and blades etched deep. His fingers traced the old carvings, the promise carved into both dragon tongue and human words. And there, beneath the moss, he saw something new. Fresh markings, symbols not carved by human hand. His heart tightened. Someone had been here. Recently, the mark spoke of breaking chains, of fire returning, of vengeance. He knew then that the sisters were not acting alone. There was a larger movement, a hidden force working in shadows, seeking to undo the pact piece by piece. The sisters were only the beginning. The old man sank to his knees, his breath heavy. He had feared betrayal, but this was worse. This was not two dragons planning rebellion. This was an entire faction rising. And if they succeeded, the war would not just return. It would be greater than before. Behind him, a soft sound broke the silence. The elder froze, hand on his dagger. "You should not be here," a voice whispered. He turned slowly. The younger dragon sister stood at the edge of the ruins, her golden eyes wide. She looked almost fragile in the pale light, her hands clutching the edge of her cloak. For a long moment, neither moved. At last, she spoke again, softer. "You heard us. You know." The elder's grip tightened on the dagger, but he did not draw it. "I know enough," he said, his voice low. "Enough to see that the pact means nothing to you." Her face twisted with pain, as if torn between loyalty and guilt. "It is not that simple. My sister, she believes the pact is weakness. She believes dragons must rise again, even if it means blood. She stopped, eyes falling. "I do not wish for this war." The elder's breath came heavy. For the first time, doubt flickered inside him. Could she be swayed? Was there still hope buried within her? He stepped closer, his voice like steel. "Then stop her. Help me. Together we can keep the peace." Her eyes shimmered with something he could not name. Fear, sorrow, maybe even hope. But before she could answer, a sharp voice cut through the ruins. "Enough!" The elder sister stepped from the shadows, her gaze burning like fire. Her hand gripped the hilt of her blade, her presence filling the ruins with danger. The younger one flinched, stepping back at once, her face pale. The elder sister's voice was ice. "You should not wander here, old man. These ruins are not for your kind." The old human straightened, his eyes locked on hers. "And yet here you stand, speaking of war, speaking of betrayal." Her lips curled into a smile that held no warmth. "Then perhaps you know too much." The air grew heavy, the silence sharp as a drawn blade. The younger sister's eyes darted between them, fear written across her face. The elder kept his hand near his dagger, though he knew he could not win against both. Not now, not here. But he also knew this truth. The pact was breaking, and he would not leave these ruins without carrying that knowledge back to his people. The elder turned slowly, his cloak dragging over the stone, and walked away. Every step was measured, every movement calm, though his heart thundered in his chest. Behind him, he heard the elder sisters whisper to the younger. Cold, sharp, final. He lives only until I choose otherwise. The old man did not look back, but he knew without doubt that his time was running short, and the war was already beginning. The night was heavy with clouds, the moon hidden, the stars swallowed by darkness. The human elder moved silently through the trees, his cloak blending with the black. Every step he took was careful, his weight shifting so the leaves did not crunch beneath his boots. His breath came slow and steady. He had followed men into ambushes, stalked beasts in the wild, but never had he hunted dragons in secret. Ahead, faint glimmers of golden eyes moved through the forest, the dragon sisters. Their laughter was soft, almost gentle, but beneath it lay something sharp. They thought no one followed. They thought the night was theirs. The elder knew better. For days he had watched, pretending to trust, hiding behind smiles. But tonight, their whispers had grown sharper. Tonight they had left camp without word. He had waited only long enough for their shapes to vanish before slipping after them. The forest grew darker as they walked deeper. The trees twisted, their branches clawing at the sky. The air grew colder, heavy with the smell of ash. The elder's heart thudded in his chest, but he pressed on, his eyes locked on the faint glow ahead. The sisters stopped in a clearing where the trees bent away, their shapes outlined by flickering firelight. The elder crouched low behind a fallen log, his eyes sharp, his body still as stone. At first he thought they were alone. Then the fire stirred, shadows stretching long, and something stepped into the light. It was no human. The creature was tall, cloaked in scales as black as midnight, its form shifting between dragon and man. Its wings folded like shadows behind its back, its eyes burning red. The air seemed to bend around it, as though the night itself bowed in fear. The elder's blood ran cold. This was no ordinary dragon. This was something older, something darker. The elder sister bowed her head, her voice respectful. We are ready. The humans suspect nothing. The elder sleeps like a stone. The creature's voice was low, rumbling like thunder beneath the earth. Do not underestimate him. He has lived through wars you cannot imagine. His kind has spilled dragon blood before. The younger sister shifted nervously. Then why keep him alive? Why not end it now? The creature's gaze turned toward her, and even from hiding the old man felt the weight of it. The younger sister's breath caught, her body trembling. Because, the creature rumbled, his death must be seen. His end will shatter their hope. His blood will light the fire of war. The elder's hands clenched into fists. So it was true. His death was not meant to be silent. It was meant to be a signal. The elder sister nodded. And when he falls, the pact will crumble. The creature's smile was sharp, cruel. Yes, and from the ashes, dragons will rise again. The fire flared, casting shadows across the clearing. The sisters stood close, listening, their forms shimmering faintly with scales. The creature stepped forward, lifting a clawed hand. Fire curled between its fingers, burning without smoke. The elder's heart pounded. He wanted to run, to flee back to his people with the truth. But his body refused to move. He could not look away from the sight before him. The creature spoke again, its voice carrying like a curse. When the moon hides fully, we strike. The pact dies. The age of men ends. The elder's breath caught. He pressed a hand against his chest to quiet the thunder of his heart. He had seen enemies before, had faced giants, beasts, and dragons, but never had he felt such fear. This was not just a plot by two sisters. This was war born from something ancient. The fire dimmed, shadows tightening around the clearing. The creature lowered its hand, its red eyes glowing brighter. Go back. Keep the human close. Make him trust you until the moment comes. Do not fail me. The sisters bowed deeply. We will not fail. The creature's wings unfolded, stretching wide, blocking the firelight. With a roar that shook the trees, it vanished into the shadows, the flames snuffing out as if swallowed by night. Silence fell. Only the sisters remained, their faces hard. The younger one whispered, her voice shaking. "He frightens me, sister." The elder sister's reply was cold. "Good. Fear keeps us strong." The elder stayed frozen, his body pressed to the earth, until the sisters finally turned and walked back through the trees. Their footsteps faded, their voices sinking into the distance. Only then did the old man dare to move. His legs trembled as he rose, his breath unsteady. His hands shook as he gripped the edge of the log. He had his proof now. The sisters were pawns. And behind them, a dragon lord in the shadows. Something dark enough to twist the old pact into ash. The elder's mind raced. If he returned to camp now, if he warned the humans, would they even believe him? To them, the sisters were trusted. To them, dragons had been allies for generations. Who would believe the word of one old man over two beautiful envoys of peace? He looked up at the sky. The moon was still hidden, swallowed by clouds. Soon it would vanish fully, and then the war would begin. He knew he had little time. The elder pulled his cloak tight and turned back toward camp. His steps were quicker now, though his body ached with age. Every shadow seemed to move, every sound a threat. He felt the weight of unseen eyes watching from the darkness. When he reached the edge of the camp, he paused, breathing hard. The fire still burned, faint and low. Guards moved lazily at the edge, half asleep. The sisters were already there, smiling, their voices gentle as they spoke with the men. No one suspected a thing. The elder watched them for a long moment, his chest heavy. He knew now that he was trapped in a deadly game. If he spoke too soon, they would silence him. If he waited too long, his people would burn. He stepped into the light, his face calm, his voice steady as he greeted them. The younger smiled at him warmly, offering him food. The elder sister's golden eyes lingered a moment longer, sharp as knives, before she turned away. The old man forced a smile. He pretended to be tired, to be harmless, to be nothing more than a fading elder. But inside, his resolve hardened. He had seen fire in the shadows. He had heard the truth with his own ears. And he would not let the world burn without a fight. The old human elder felt the weight of every step as he returned to camp. His bones ached, but it was not his age that slowed him. It was the truth he carried inside. He had seen what hid in the forest, the dragon cloaked in shadows, older and darker than any he had faced before. He knew now that the sisters were not acting on their own. They were messengers, servants of something greater. And soon, when the moon vanished, war would begin. But he could not stay silent any longer. Each day he waited. The noose grew tighter around his neck. Each night he pretended to sleep. The whispers cut deeper into his mind. He knew the danger, but he also knew this. If he died with his lips sealed, the humans would be blind when the fire fell. So he made his choice. Tonight he would confront them. The campfire burned low, its flames painting shadows across the faces of the dragon sisters. The younger one sat weaving flowers into a chain, her hands delicate, her eyes soft. The elder sister sharpened her blade, the sound of steel on stone breaking the silence. The old man sat across from them, his cloak heavy around his shoulders. For a time he only watched, the firelight reflecting in his tired eyes. Then slowly he spoke. "I have lived long," he said, his voice steady though his chest was tight. "Long enough to know that silence carries more danger than words." The younger sister looked up, puzzled. "Elder? What do you mean?" His gaze shifted to the elder sister, sharp as a blade. "I mean that I know what you whisper when you think I sleep." The sound of stone against steel stopped. The elder sister's eyes lifted, golden and hard. For the first time, she did not smile. The younger gasped softly, her hands trembling as the flower chain fell into the dirt. You heard." The old man nodded. His heart pounded, but he kept his voice calm. "Every word. I know of your plan. I know you mean to break the pact. I know my death is to be the spark of your war." The fire cracked, sending sparks into the night. The camp grew colder. The younger sister's face paled, her lips parting as if to speak, but the elder sister raised a hand, silencing her. Her gaze locked on the old man, burning. "So," she said softly, her voice smooth but dangerous. "The frail elder has sharper ears than we thought." The old man's hand tightened beneath his cloak, gripping the dagger hidden there. He could not defeat them both, not in open battle, but he would not cower. "You think me weak," he said. "You think my years have made me blind. But I have seen more war than either of you can imagine. I have buried friends, enemies, even dragons. And I will not let peace die without a fight." The elder sister's lips curved into a thin smile. "Fight? You?" She rose slowly, her cloak falling back to reveal the shimmer of scales along her skin. "Old man, you are already dead. You just do not know it yet." The younger sister stood as well, her face pale, fear in her eyes. "Sister, wait." But the elder sister cut her off with a glare. "Do not show weakness now." The old man rose too, his body straight despite the ache in his bones. He faced them across the fire, the crackle of flames between them. For a moment no one moved. The night held its breath. Then the old man spoke again, his voice hard as steel. "I have walked into death before. If it finds me tonight, so be it. But hear me now, your plan will not succeed. Even if you spill my blood, others will rise. My people will not bow. Not again." The elder sister's eyes narrowed, her hand resting on her blade. "We do not want them to bow. We want them to burn." The younger sister flinched, her voice breaking. "Sister, enough. He is right, the humans will not surrender. This will bring only endless death." The elder sister turned on her, her voice sharp as a whip. "And what of our pride? What of our chains? Would you rather kneel forever?" Tears shimmered in the younger's golden eyes. "I would rather live than see our world drown in fire." The old man's heart tightened. For the first time he saw it clearly. The younger sister's heart was not yet lost. There was conflict inside her, a thread of hope he might still grasp. He took a step forward, his eyes on her. "You know this path is wrong. Help me. Together we can stop this before it begins." The elder sister's snarl cut the air. She drew her blade, firelight gleaming along the edge. "Enough of this. The time for words is over." She stepped forward, her presence heavy, her eyes burning with fury. The younger backed away, torn between fear and guilt. The old man tightened his grip on the dagger, ready to draw, ready to face death if it came. But he also knew the truth. This was not his fight to win with steel. His weapon was words, patience, and the hope that the younger sister would choose wisely. The elder sister raised her blade. "Your silence has bought you days, old man. But now it ends." The younger cried out, stepping between them. "No!" Her voice trembled, but her body blocked the path. "We cannot kill him now. If we do, the humans will suspect. We will lose everything before the master gives the signal." The elder sister froze, her blade inches from striking. Her eyes burned with fury, but after a long, tense silence, she lowered it. Her gaze locked on the old man. "You live for now. But remember this, human. When the moon hides, your blood will flow, and nothing you do will stop it." The fire hissed as she sheathed her blade, her cloak swirling as she turned away. The younger followed, her eyes lingering on the elder, filled with something unspoken. Fear, sorrow, maybe even apology. And then they were gone, swallowed by the dark. The old man sank back to the ground, his breath heavy, his hands shaking. He had survived the night, but the confrontation had changed everything. The sisters knew now. They knew he had heard. And though he still lived, his time was running short. He stared into the dying fire, the embers glowing like fading stars. His heart was heavy, but his mind was clear. He could not wait any longer. If he wanted to save his people, he would need to act before the moon vanished. The war had not yet begun, but the first blade had already been drawn. The night was heavy, darker than any the old man had seen in years. Clouds swallowed the stars, and the moon hid behind a thick veil, as though even the heavens refused to look upon what was coming. The air was sharp and cold, yet sweat clung to the elder's skin. He sat alone by the fading embers of the fire, every sense straining. He knew the time had come. The dragon sisters had left him alive, but not safe. Their warning still echoed in his mind. When the moon hides, your blood will flow. And now the moon was gone. His hand rested on the dagger beneath his cloak. He was old, his strength fading, but his mind was sharper than any blade. He had survived wars, betrayals, ambushes. He would not go quietly into death. A rustle came from the edge of the camp. Not the sound of wind, nor beast. It was too controlled, too deliberate. His breath slowed, his heart steadying as he listened. Then he heard the whisper. Now. Two shadows moved like predators from the trees. The dragon sisters stepped into the dim glow of the dying fire, their faces hidden under hoods. One was calm and cold, the other hesitant, her steps slower, as though her heart fought her orders. The elder stood, his cloak falling back. His voice cut through the silence. You could have ended me nights ago. Why wait until now? The elder sister pulled back her hood, eyes gleaming like molten gold. Because the signal had not yet been given. And now it has. From the forest behind her came another sound. The deep, heavy thrum of wings. The old man froze, blood turning to ice. A shadow darker than the night spread across the trees, vast and monstrous. The air trembled as an ancient dragon, scales black as coal and eyes burning like fire, descended upon the clearing. The elder's blood ran cold. This was the master behind their whispers. This was the force waiting in the dark. The ancient beast landed, shaking the ground with its weight. Smoke curled from its nostrils, and its voice rumbled like thunder. Human, it growled, each word heavy with contempt. You were meant to die unseen, but fate has given you ears too sharp for your own good. The elder forced himself to stand tall, though his knees trembled beneath him. And you were meant to remain in shadows. Why step into the light now? The dragon's maw twisted into something like a grin. Because the light will soon belong to us. The pact is broken. The age of humans ends tonight. The elder's hand tightened on his dagger. He knew he could not kill such a beast. Even in his youth, with an army at his back, he might not have stood a chance. Yet his mind raced, searching for something, anything that might tip the balance. The younger sister stepped forward, her hood falling back to reveal her conflicted face. Her voice shook. Must it be this way? Must there be only fire and death? Her elder sister's eyes snapped toward her. Do not falter now. This is the destiny of our kind. The younger's hands trembled. Destiny? Or chains of hate we refuse to break? The old man's gaze locked on her, seizing the crack of hope. You know this is wrong. You feel it. You can still choose. The ancient dragon's head lowered, eyes blazing. Choose? There is no choice. There is obedience or there is ash. Its roar thundered through the forest, shaking branches, scattering birds into the night. The elder stumbled but did not fall. He looked up at the beast, unbroken. Then hear this, he said, his voice steady as iron. I may be one old man, but I am not alone. My people will see your fire, they will hear my last breath, and they will rise. Burn me if you wish, but you will not end us. The dragon's eyes narrowed. Smoke hissed between its teeth as it drew in a deep, fiery breath. The elder braced himself, heart pounding. And then, at the last instant, the younger sister moved. She leapt in front of him, spreading her arms wide, her golden eyes blazing with defiance. No! She cried. If you burn him, you burn me too. The dragon's fire halted, its jaws closing with a hiss of smoke. The elder sister's face twisted with rage. Traitor! She spat. You would betray your own blood for a human? Tears glistened in the younger's eyes, but her voice was firm. I would betray death itself if it means saving even one life. This war will only destroy us all. The camp was silent, the night heavy with tension. The elder stood frozen, his heart pounding at the sight of her defiance. For a moment, just a moment, he dared to hope. But the elder sister's fury boiled over. With a roar, she drew her blade and charged. not at the human, but at her own sister. Steel flashed in the firelight. The old man reacted without thought. His dagger left his hand, spinning through the air. It struck the elder sister's arm, not enough to kill, but enough to make her blade falter. She staggered, her snarl turning into a scream of rage. The younger sister stumbled back, breathless, eyes wide. She had been seconds away from death. The dragon's roar shattered the clearing, its fury shaking the ground. "Enough of this," it bellowed. "If you will not obey, then you are no daughter of mine." The words struck like thunder. The younger sister's face crumpled, her voice breaking. "Father?" The elder froze, the truth slamming into him. These were not just dragon sisters. They were the daughters of the ancient beast itself. The old man's blood ran colder than ever. The dragon's wings spread wide, fire burning in its throat once more. The younger sister's tears shone in the glow as she turned to the elder. "Run," she whispered. "Run before it's too late." The elder did not move. His legs were stone, his mind torn between flight and the duty in his chest. He looked at her, at the desperate plea in her eyes, and then at the shadow of the dragon towering above them. He knew this night would not end with running. The fire grew brighter, the roar grew louder, and the night was about to drown in flame. And as the first spark of fire burst from the dragon's throat, the old man made his choice.